Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlie. This time, we're gonna restore a beautiful vintage watch, Enicar. Yes, back in the day, Enicar was absolutely a good old Swiss watch brand. When I see a dolphin leaping into the air and gazing at the starry sky on the back cover, I can feel the brand's spirit of exploration. But as I said in the title, it turns out that this brand has already become a zombie brand. Oh, why zombie brand? I'll talk about it in detail later. But before the explanation, I think I just need to check why the watch stopped and figure out where the problem is. Okay, I think I spotted where the problem is. You see the hairspring is all tangled up here. Yes, right, just right here. That's why it stops after running. Oh no, did you see that? It was just running. But anyway, it's not a big problem. A couple of tweaks with the tweezers and it'll be almost fixed. Still a bit unbalanced left and right. I'm tweeted again. And check the vertical direction of the hairspring. Nice. Okay, problem solved. No more tangle. Now let's talk about the zombie stuff. When it comes to Enicar, I just want to say the brand is actually a zombie watch brand. It's wearing the brand facade of the old Enicar, but there's no Swiss flavor at all. Although the factory is still in Switzerland, it was acquired by a Hong Kong company after the quartz crisis in the last century. To maintain the facade of the old brand, they even added a Switzerland after the brand name. It seems that they are afraid people have forgotten the brand is Swiss. I'm not kidding. I mean, do Rolex or Omega add a Switzerland after their names? I don't think so. It has completely lost the ability to develop movements. Oh man, look at the back of the die. It's surprisingly stunning. I mean, in my experience, it's extremely uncommon to find a die like this, with hidden patterns engraved on the reverse side. It's really beautiful. Does anyone know what kind of flowers they are? I mean, what kind of flower has three petals? Oh gee, I wonder. If you know, please leave a comment in the section below. I really appreciate that. Well, let's move on. After Enicar was acquired by a Hong Kong company, since they kept relying on the old brand's reputation and lost their independent R&D capabilities. So it was kicked out of the Federation of the Swiss watch industry a long time ago. Ironically, if you browse their official websites or Amazon store, you'll find their prices are even higher than Tissel's, and not even a little higher. I mean, if I spend $900 on it, why not spend a bit more to buy a Longines? At least Longines more premium brand, and it now makes at least part of its movements in-house. But then again, if we go back to the 1960s and 1970s, there's something pretty good about Enicar. First, it has its own in-house movements, just like the movement of this watch. The workmanship is still quite good. They also made a 617 movement, which was later acquired by a German watch brand, Chrono Swiss. Then Chrono Swiss modified the 617 movement into a dual-time zoom movement and sold it to high-end customers. It seems that the original 617 movement from Enicar should have good quality. Otherwise, why would they take it for modification, right? Now let's get back to cleaning. You see, I'm using a brush to clean the parts. After this, I'll put them in the ultrasonic cleaner for another go. Anyway, the order is hand washing first, then machine washing. You can't mix up the sequence. The ultrasonic cleaner gets into places where the brush can't reach, but for stubborn stains, the machine can't do much. You'll see once you try it. Honestly, for a modern watch movement that hasn't been used for too long, a hand wash usually gets it pretty clean. But antique watches are different because you often come across the ones that hasn't been cleaned or maintained for over a decade or even several decades. A grain stuck on the parts is super stubborn, so they might need an extra hand wash. Of course, there's an important step here, replacing the mainspring. Especially for the vintage watches, after years of wear and tear, it's common for the mainspring to become weak. The obvious consequence is insufficient power to drive the gear train, ultimately causing the amplitude of balance wheel at the end to decrease. When measured on the time grapher, this shows as low amplitude. Of course, in the end, the watch won't keep accurate time. Okay, this is the way I strip off the mainspring because I think doing this way is faster. Sometimes I use another way, releasing the spring slowly by alternating left and right hands, so that's slower. But I have to admit that the way is safer. Oh, check it out. The end of the spring is almost straight up now. I mean, this is not normal. Because, when it came out of the factory, the tail should be all curved up instead of straight up. Okay, once it's clean, I'm gonna be lubricating, then put in a new spring. Well, I guess you notice there's something wrong with the new spring. You see the little coil part near the head is way off center. It's not lined up with the middle at all. But this isn't the problem. Let me explain later. But before that, let me tell you a story. A few days ago, I bought this new spring on Taobao. You might not know what Taobao is, but in fact, it's an e-commerce shopping platform in China, pretty like Amazon in the United States. Anyway, there are many kinds of products available there. Most of my watch parts and tools were from that platform. That's more, the prices are affordable while the quality is pretty good. I'm not sure if Americans can buy these watch parts or tools on Taobao in the same way as the Chinese people do. If you can do, I think it'll be a good choice. You know how much I spent on this spring? Check it out. Let me show you the price on the screenshot. It's just 5 RMB. I mean RMB, Chinese currency. So I googled how much 5 RMB is in US dollars. 0.7 USD. Less than $1, man. So I went ahead and ordered 5 right away. Theoretically, this off-center thing could cause more wear on one side of the barrel, but actually it's not a big problem because the barrel spins around, the wear evens out. So anyway, as long as we put enough lube on it, it should be fine. So let's wind the mainspring a few times to check if the gears are running freely, so I can put the pedal fork in place and wind the spring again. Then comes a very critical step. Try to gently flick the pedal fork and check if it rebounds. This is super important because that's exactly the force that drives the balance wheel to swing back and forth. If you're curious about how the escapement works, check out my video on Omega's coaxial escapement. Even though it's about Omega, it also breaks down the principles of escapements. Okay, since that the balance wheel is working good so far, but I'll need to test it on the time grapher to check if it's really good. But before that, we need to clean the jewels that go over the balance wheel. Let's remove it first. Use the pack wood to scrape the grime off. Honestly, sometimes a brush gets the job done, but facing 10 years or even 20 years of grime, a brush just doesn't work. So yeah, using the pack wood to clean jewels, especially in vintage watch movements, it's a must. One thing I really like about this movement is that it used an Enicar block shock absorber. I mean, this is the total classic. Let me just put the shock resistance aside. Compared to modern shock absorbers, this design is crazy simple. It looks like a horse's hoof, and because of its simplicity, it has a low production cost. And there's more to its excellence than meets the eye. As a watchmaker, a shock-proof effect is important. The shock rings also need to be easy to move out and replace. To my surprise, among the ones I tried, Enicar block is even easier to work with than other ones used by big names like Rolex and Omega. Back in the day, the Enicar block company had even advertised their shock resistance setting. Can you believe that? A watch shock absorber with this on as? I'm not kidding. Let me show you an old picture. I think this is a London bus. Red and so cute. There's a line of small text on it. Enicar block makes a good watch better. Lovely. And this one should be a Hong Kong bus. By the way, does anyone know why they love running ads on buses? Interesting. Now we can case the watch. Yeah, just put the movement back into the case. We see how it works on the time grapher. Nice. You see the amplitude is like a 245 and the rate is almost up to 3 seconds a day. Then let's see how it works on the backside. It's also pretty good because the rate is not much different. However, to make sure this Chinese mainspring will work, I even kept the watch on for 2 days. And guess what? It turns out great. I mean, when fully round, it keeps running for 32 hours. Excellent. I mean, getting excellent for just 70 cents? I just can't complain with it. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for being patient and sticking around till the end here. I'll see you next time.